From haunted houses to cursed artifacts, from whispers in the dark to battles you'll never read in scripture. This is the Unholy Podcast, hosted by Doug Owen, author, investigator, and survivor of one of the most harrowing real-life hauntings ever documented. Each week, Doug pulls back the veil between this world and the next, sharing stories that aren't fiction, because he lived them. Prepare yourself. The silence is over.
Welcome back to the Unholy Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Owen, author, paranormal investigator, and guide through the shadows of the unexplained. Today I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough in paranormal circles. It isn't about ghosts or demons or haunted houses, it's about fraud. Fraud can do more damage than any spirit ever could. It undermines the credibility of genuine investigators. It creates mistrust with the community, and worst of all, it causes real emotional and financial harm to people who are desperately seeking help. That's why transparency, ethics, and education are not just important, they are essential. If we want the paranormal field to be taken seriously, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Let's look at some of the cases that show just how damaging fraud can be. In 2024, in Bengaluru, India, a restaurateur was swindled out of a significant amount of money by a so-called exorcist. This fraudster fabricated ghost stories to exploit someone's fear, leaving behind financial ruin and emotional scars. You can look this and the other cases up on Google. You can really read about the details here. I'm just going to brush over them briefly. Let's go back to 2018 in Victoria, Australia. Con artists posed as exorcists and targeted elderly women, manipulating their beliefs and fears before stealing thousands of dollars from them. These aren't ghost stories, they're cautionary tales. They show us why it's so important to question, to investigate, and to verify anyone who claims supernatural power. Now, on the other side, there are those who've dedicated their lives to real investigation and education. Take Dr. Barry Taff, known for his scientific approach and for his investigating the famous Doris Bither case. His work pushed paranormal study into the more evidence-based territory. And Dr. Barry Taff, I believe, was involved in the movie that was The Entity with Barbara Hershey, where she was continually and brutally assaulted by an unseen force. We can talk about Lloyd Auerbach, a parapsychologist who's been educating the public for decades, bringing knowledge and reason into the field. Dr. Julie Bichel, co-founder of Windbridge Research Center, who focuses on rigorous evidence-based research into mediumship. These are individuals who didn't exploit people's fear for money. They contributed knowledge. They built trust. They strengthened the credibility of paranormal research. Now, some of the other famous cases here that we want to talk about. No discussion of the paranormal would be complete without a look at this famous case, the Enfield Poltergeist, 1977 to 1979 in London, England. A single mother, Peggy Hodgson, reported terrifying events, furniture moving, knocking sounds, even her children allegedly levitating. Investigators Maurice Gross and Guy Lyon Plainfair documented strange voices and flying objects. To this day, the case divides believers and skeptics. One police officer who was on the scene saw a chair levitate 3 to 4 inches off the ground and fly across the room 4 to 5 feet. She claimed she checked the chair for wires, magnets, other basic devices that would cause the chair to move. Conventional rigging. She said she had no explanation for what she saw. It even inspired the movie The Conjuring 2. That's pretty accurate as to what happened, for the most part. Alright, the big one. The Georgetown Exorcism, 1949. We all know. A 13-year-old boy, later revealed as Ronald Edwin Hunkler, was the center of a series of exorcisms performed by Jesuit priests. Reports of violent outbursts and mysterious phenomena made this case infamous. It eventually inspired, you guessed it, The Exorcist, one of the most iconic horror films ever made. The entity that we talked about before, the entity case, the story of Doris Bither. In the 1970s, she claimed repeated assaults by an invisible entity in her home. Investigators Barry Taff and Carrie Gaynor documented some disturbing events, and her story became the basis for the film The Entity. To this day, it remains controversial. Was it real? Psychological? Something in between? Even Mother Teresa had a brush with the extraordinary and supernatural. In 1997, during a period of illness near the end of her life, parts of the exorcism rite were prayed over her, not because she was believed to be possessed, but for spiritual protection. The original report I had read claimed that she was sexually frustrated and vulgar towards the priests and others. The story has changed somewhat since then, making it less sensational. It's a reminder that belief in spiritual warfare reaches into every corner of life, even among the most revered and sacred. Now, spotting paranormal fraud. So, how do we protect ourselves? How do we protect others from fraud? Well, here are some easy red flags you can watch for. Number 1, guaranteed results. If someone promises they can solve your hauntings, guaranteed, they are lying. The paranormal is unpredictable. Okay, so keep that in mind. High fees up front. Scammers love to demand large sums of money before lifting a finger. So if anybody asks you for a high dollar amount upfront payment, red flag. Number 3, lack of transparency. If they won't explain their methods or provide evidence, walk away. Number 4, fear tactics. If someone tries to terrify you into paying for more services, they're exploiting you. It's as simple as that. No credentials or references. Real investigators can usually show verifiable experience or references. Inconsistencies. If their story keeps changing or if they can't seem to keep their facts straight, it's a red flag. The simple truth, real investigators don't prey on fear. They seek answers. So, I want to tell you all that fraud weakens the field. It feeds the skeptics, destroys trust, and damages lives. But legitimate ethical investigators, those who approach the unknown with honesty, respect, and transparency, keep the search for truth alive. And maybe that's what it's all about. Not exploiting fear, but maybe facing it. Not making promises, but asking questions. Because at the end of the day, sometimes the silence is the most terrifying thing of all. This has been another episode of the Unholy Podcast. I'm paranormal investigator and author Doug Owen. I want to go ahead and thank you for joining me. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and never stop questioning the darkness and the silence. Take care.
You've just heard another chilling chapter of the Unholy Podcast, hosted by Doug Owen, author, investigator, and witness to the things most fear to name. For more real stories, cursed objects, and exclusive content, step deeper into the dark at authordugowen.com. Subscribe, share, and remember, some silences aren't empty, they're waiting.